Joe landed abroad, his spirit filled with determination. He went to the company where he was supposed to work, and his boss was surprised to see him without any luggage or briefcase. "Hey, Joe, welcome aboard," his boss said, shaking his hand. "But where's your briefcase? You didn't bring anything from the airport?" Joe hesitated, unsure of what to say. I misplaced my things at the airport, including my phone." His boss raised an eyebrow but didn't press the issue. "No worries, we'll get you set up with a new phone and everything you need. Let's get you settled in first." Joe's boss helped him find a place to stay and arranged for a new phone and other essentials. Joe was grateful, but his mind kept wandering back to Joyce. He couldn't wait to talk to her. 3 days later, Joe finally got his new phone and quickly dialed Joyce's number. She picked up on the first ring. "Hi, baby," Joe said, trying to sound casual. "Wow, Joe, I've been trying to reach you for days. Your number's been off. Thank God you called. And why are you calling from a foreign number?" Joyce asked, sounding concerned. Joe hesitated, unsure of how much to reveal. "I'm abroad now, got a job here." Joyce was surprised. "You never told me you were traveling so soon. What's going on?" Joe and Joyce chatted for a while, catching up on each other's lives. But Joe couldn't shake off the feeling of guilt and sadness. He knew he couldn't tell Joyce the truth that he was dead and only had 10 years to fulfill his promises. After the call ended, Joe burst into tears. How would Joyce survive if she knew he was dead? He wondered, crying uncontrollably. Meanwhile, back in Joe's village, Sam stayed by Rita's side, trying to comfort her. She lay in bed, her eyes red from crying. "Rita, please don't cry. Joe will always be with us," Sam said, trying to reassure her. But Rita just shook her head, her body racked with sobs. Sam stayed with her, holding her hand, trying to keep her safe from harm. Slowly, Rita's sobs subsided, and she reached for Joe's photo on the bedside table. She held it close, her eyes fixed on her son's smiling face. With a gentle touch, Rita placed Joe's photo on her chest, holding it close to her heart. 2 years had passed since Joe's spirit had been working abroad, and he had kept in constant contact with Joyce, who was eagerly awaiting his return. Joe had worked tirelessly to build a successful career and amass wealth, all while keeping his true existence a secret. Finally, the day arrived for Joe to return to his home country. Joyce waited anxiously at the airport, her eyes scanning the crowds for a glimpse of the man she loved. When Joe emerged from the arrival's gate, Joyce's heart skipped a beat. But as she approached him, she noticed something was off. Joe seemed nervous and on edge, constantly looking over his shoulder as if he was worried about being recognized. Joyce brushed off her concerns, thinking that Joe was just jet-lagged or stressed from his journey. But as they made their way to the house, Joe had sent money for her to buy. His strange behavior continued. He avoided eye contact with anyone they met and seemed hesitant to engage in conversation. Despite her growing unease, Joyce tried to focus on the excitement of having Joe back home. But she couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Meanwhile, back in the village, Rita was facing her own struggles. The village women, who had always been cruel and gossip-prone, took great pleasure in mocking her about her son's death. "You were so proud of your son, Rita," they would say, their voices dripping with malice. "Now look who's left to build you a house." Rita tried to ignore them, but their words cut deep. She felt like she was drowning in a sea of grief, with no lifeline in sight. But even amid her sorrow, Rita found a spark of determination. She refused to give in to her pain, and refused to let the village women's cruel words define her. As she walked through the village, Rita's eyes welled up with tears. But she kept moving forward, her heart fixed on the memory of her son. She knew that Joe would want her to be strong, to keep going, even in the face of adversity.